Never try to adjust Google through your operating system settings. Always do it in the Hangout if that helps any.
No, that's not the issue.
Okay.
Give me 1 second to restart this, and everything should be okay.
All right. Good.
All right, we'll just get back to fighting.
Yeah.
Yes. So Roger. Right. I was a poor secretary of Roger. Right.
Roger, what is your opinion on The Office, either the UK or the
I
US
don't like
version?
either one.
Oh, come on.
I don't like it's all I
mean, Roger.
I just find it kind of obnoxious with the awkward pauses.
There we go. Now we're seeing Patrick.
No.
Google was telling me it was having trouble connecting to the application on my system, and then I finally realized my laptop was using hotspot mode on my phone and in this corner of my house.
Oh, well, there you go. All right.
Well, it doesn't. It's fine. We've just learned that everyone hates me because I don't follow their shows.
What about Breaking Bad?
We love you, Roger. I hope you don't think we hate you.
I saw an episode of Breaking Bad once. It was very exciting.
I was making fun of Roger because it's very mainstream to be meh about stuff these days. And
how's that mainstream? That's literally how I've been since I popped out of my.
No, you don't understand. This is
like
like
ahead of the curve, like you said, Roger.
When Sarah and I when Sarah started growing, when she started raising chickens, and then 6 months later, chicken farming was on the cover of 3 magazines.
Patrick's wife, Sarah, not Sarah Lane.
Yeah, I don't raise chickens. Different Sarah.
I'm envisioning you now, with a really, really awesome pair of gloves.
A lot of people were just very excited.
No, I could feel it. Where I always want to say 25% of the world is named Sarah, just so you know. It's not me.
But literally, there was things we were doing, and then 6 months later, they were showing up on the front of magazines. And Sarah's like, "This is really freaking me out because I'm the least hit person on the planet." I'm like, "You did it! You hit 40, and you're ahead of the curve." So Roger, you're ahead of the curve.
Exactly.
All right, so ahead of the curve. I literally.
We're actually behind the curve today.
Oh yes, all right.
We got to get started. Thank you, Patrick, for joining us.
Sorry, I'm late.
I hope that your children's hair looks awesome.
One child is shorn.
Good.
The other child still looks like an extra from what's that movie with Mel Gibson in the cars? Or later on, Tom Hardy. Yeah. He looks like an extra. Tristan still looks like an extra from a Mad Max movie.
All right. Well, we'll discuss that more in a moment, but let's get going with the Daily Tech News Show. Here we go in 3, 2. Mark Ellison has supported independent tech news directly for about a day. Be like Mark. Become a DTNS member right now at patreon.com/DTNS. This is the Daily Tech News for Friday, April 12th, 2019 in Los Angeles. I'm Tom Merritt.
And from Studio Feline, I'm Sarah Lane.
I'm back with a new workflow. I'm Len Peralta.
And I'm Roger Chang, the show's producer and possibly the unpopular kid on this.
I think he's the most popular of all of us. But joining us also is Patrick Norton, host of Tech Thing and AVXL. Patrick, thanks for coming back to the show.
Thanks for having me back to the show.
We are going to talk to Patrick about some high-quality audio streaming and some high-quality audio headphones to listen to that high-quality audio streaming on. But let's start with a few tech things you should know.
GoFundMe announced the launch of GoFundMe.org, a 501c3 public charity that allows for tax-deductible donations for individuals or certified charities that have been verified by their trust and safety teams. TechCrunch notes that this is effectively a rebrand of the Direct Impact Fund, which has worked with GoFundMe since 2017. The launch also includes GoFundMe.org Causes, which takes donations for general causes like animal rescue, K-12 classrooms, or mental health, and distributes the funds to many charities working in the space.
Gmail has become the first major email provider to integrate the MTA-STS and TLS reporting security standards designed to thwart man-in-the-middle attacks. MTA-STS can ensure that any mail received has gone through an encrypted channel, and TLS reporting lets servers find out whether a message was successfully or failed to be sent out.
A Chinese-Taiwanese group consisting of Taiwanese flat screen maker TPK Holding and Chinese investment firm Harvest Group will funnel 80 billion yen into Japan Display by buying shares and bonds in what's essentially a bailout plan. The deal will make them Japan Display's biggest shareholders, a 49.8% stake, which replaces its previous Japanese government-backed INCJ fund.
All right, let's talk about Disney. launching its Disney Plus streaming service in the United States November 12th for $6.99 a month. That's less than half HBO now. It's almost half Netflix. You can also pay for a year at a time, $69. The service supports 4K and HDR content. For sure is ready to stream to Roku and PS4. And they say by the time they launch, they'll have desktop browser support, most other TV and mobile platforms, all the streaming boxes and everything. Content will be available for unlimited offline viewing as long as you remain a subscriber. If you download it, it'll never expire. Household users can set up individual profiles. There are family controls as well. And the service backend is powered by BAMTech. That's the same company that powers PlayStation Vue, MLB TV, and HBO Now, among others. A worldwide launch of Disney Plus is expected over the next 2 years. I'm not even going into the original content from Marvel and Star Wars. The Mandalorian will be available from day one. That's the Jon Favreau Star Wars universe series. There will also be movies. Captain Marvel is going to go there when it hits the end of its window. So will The Lion King. All of the Star Wars movies, although I didn't notice Last Jedi on the list, but all the Star Wars movies, except maybe The Last Jedi right away, will be available at launch on Disney Plus, except for obviously Episode 9, which won't have come out yet. But once Episode 9 is out of the window that prevents it from being on streaming, it will come to Disney Plus. And I assume Last Jedi will follow once it's done with its obligations elsewhere as well. So what do you guys think of Disney Plus?
I think there was like a tantrum that I heard things being flung somewhere down on the peninsula, and now I know why after reading that article. I think Disney's out for blood. I think they want to hurt Netflix. I think they want to hurt HBO, Showtime, and everybody else they can in the industry. They've got.
So you're talking about the Silicon Valley Peninsula.
Yes.
Actually, they're also over in Hollywood, so I think I heard the same thing you're talking about over here.
I was thinking of like Netflix. Where's Netflix's main office? I mean, wherever it was. Yeah, somewhere south of me, there was like flinging of things. But it's crazy, right? Because it's like we're gonna have all the movies you love. We're gonna have all these new series, and by the way, your kids who watch all of this stuff now you can have it for $7. It's just.
I didn't even talk about High School Musical and original content around High School Musical and reunions of the original High School Musical cast. I mean, that's
they also make content for younger children too. So I'm fascinated by the price. I'm curious to see how well it works.
Well, all kidding aside, we were sort of going back and forth about Star Wars and what people like and don't like before the show started.
Right.
Does $7 a month seem like a deal? Because everybody's hiking up their prices. So the fact that this is undercutting the $10 a month, which is sort of the going rate, is interesting. But again, you're not getting everything. You're getting Disney stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. So what we've been watching is all of these different content creators, or all these different sort of what I think of as what do we call them? A movie studio, production house, a media conglomerate. They've all been sort of like, oh, we need to start like CBS. We're going to do a Star Trek thing, and we're going to make you subscribe to our service. All these different services are basically still pissed off about Netflix having access to their content for so many years so cheap. And
I don't agree with you on that. I don't think they're pissed off at all. This is a purely like emotionless business move. Disney was happy to get money from Netflix for years until they realized, hey, we could make more money if we move this inside. So now they're moving it inside. I also don't think Netflix is that worried about Disney Plus. I would be more worried if I'm Netflix about what Disney's going to do with Hulu and all the Fox stuff that they're going to put into there. Because The Simpsons is going to Disney Plus, but all that other Fox FX stuff that they have, that's going to go into Hulu. And that's where I think Netflix is going to feel the heat more.
If I will act like an emotional analyst and not speak like myself, I'd say the emerging markets in streaming media indicate that most production houses will be pulling content inside behind a paywall instead of offering users the opportunity to enjoy a broad selection across. Like Netflix is going to be
behind a paywall. It just depends on who manages the paywall. That's all.
I know, but I mean, it's like it's one thing to have. You used to be able to get almost everything movie-wise on Netflix, right? And then it's sort of, Netflix lost that Starz contract, that hack they had to access the content. But I guess what I'm saying is it's pretty soon, if you have fairly wide tastes, you're going to be paying for like 13 different $8 to $15 a month subscriptions. Because like, oh, I want Game of Thrones, and I want I want American Gods, and I want this, and I want that, and I want the other thing and that thing, and all of a sudden you're up to like 80 or $100 a month in different services.
Well, what will
Right.
happen is you won't do that because you won't be able to afford it, and a bunch of those services are going to go under, and then the whole market's going to balance out.
Well, and that's why I think, VOD services as a whole, like every company's like, let's shoot our shot. I don't know, maybe people will, subscribe and it'll be great. Most of the time that isn't the case because it's too limited as far as content goes.
Yeah, Nick with a C in the chat room just said, I think it'd be a better deal if there was an option to pay per film. There is. It's called renting. You can do that right now.
Or you can buy the Blu-ray.
Yeah, or you can buy the Blu-ray.
Or you can buy it off iTunes or Amazon Prime or Google Play. Or it just seems like things are getting spread out again in a way that's really
we're seeing the overlapping of an old business model with a new business model, and there's just way more people trying to make this work than the market will be able to handle. But eventually I think it will shake out.
Uber made its S1 filing for an initial public offering of stock on Thursday. It was right after our show ended yesterday, in fact. The filing says that the company had 91 million monthly active users at the end of 2018, which is up 33.8% from 2017, but slowing from 51% growth the year earlier. Revenue rose 42% in 2018 to $11.3 billion, but again slowed from 102% growth in 2017. The company lost $3.03 billion in 2018 and cautioned in the filing that it may not achieve profitability. Uber also spent $1.5 million on R&D in 2018, with $457 million specifically on autonomous vehicles and flying cars and other technology programs. Uber also says that human drivers are a part of its core business for the foreseeable future, and there will be a long period of hybrid autonomy with drivers serving most consumer demands.
That's the thing that caught my eye after hearing the Ford CEO yesterday say, yeah, autonomous cars, not going to happen as fast as we thought. Now,
Uber's
sort of
like,
underlining that.
Our drivers are really important part of our business. They're not going anywhere just yet. Which is true. I mean, it's true that we don't have autonomous Uber drivers on the road right now. I use Uber and Uber Eats very regularly, and that is a huge part of the ecosystem. I mentioned before the show, Tom, like, not getting profitable, and you said,
I know, we were
that's not super uncommon for a company of Uber's size, where it's all sort of about the trajectory and not really what they're taking in at this moment. But I wonder, what does Uber look like in 5 years?
Not profitable, apparently. We were laughing a little bit about that. Hopefully it won't be as bad for them as they are covering their butts to say. The previously announced auction of 5G spectrum in the United States has been set to begin December 10th. We knew there was going to be another auction, and now we have a date. This will be for the 37 gigahertz, 39 gigahertz, and 47 gigahertz bands. They already had an auction for the 28 gigahertz and 24 gigahertz bands March 14th. So if you're hearing this pitched as something new or something that was special, it's not. It's just giving a date to something that is pretty normal. We had 700 megahertz spectrum auctions in advance of 4G. This is the one in advance of 5G. The FCC also announced its proposal for a $20.4 billion rural broadband fund as part of the Universal Service Fund. This also isn't really new. It's an expansion of an existing program. Previously, and in fact, currently, there's a $9 billion fund that was started in 2015 that provides $1.5 billion a year for rural broadband, up to 10 megabits per second of service. This new fund would provide $2 billion a year over 10 years and encourage up to gigabit service. So it's taking that fund, adding a little more money, and saying, let's do a lot better than 10 megabits per second. Let's do gigabit out in the rural areas. So I mostly wanted to talk about this on the show today because this is being reported in a lot of very strange and unusual ways. It's not a non-newsworthy story, but it's also a very expected auction getting a date, not a special move, and it's an expansion of an existing program. And the big positive is saying, hey, when we bring broadband, let's mean broadband to rural areas and do gigabit. So good for the FCC.
App researcher Jane Manchin Wong discovered that Facebook is testing the possibility of returning Messenger back into the core Facebook app. The existing Messenger icon in the Facebook app would take users to a chat screen rather than opening up the separate app as it works now. Wong notes that the integrated Messenger he saw can only send and receive messages and still requires the Messenger app to make calls, send photos, or send message reactions. Okay, so I thought a little bit about this, and it's always bugged me a little bit that, Facebook, which owns lots of very successful standalone apps, Messenger and WhatsApp are the most closely competing of the two, right? And I don't use WhatsApp a lot unless I'm overseas, and then the usage goes up a lot with my friends who live outside the States. But I do use Messenger a lot, and I remember when Facebook made a big to-do about making Messenger more of a standalone operation. And, people sort of mumbled and grumbled and then got used to it, or didn't use Messenger at all, so it didn't matter. But this sort of makes sense to me. It makes sense that Facebook would want to give, especially all of the news as of late of what Facebook has been going through, people more of a reason to be in that core Facebook app. And if you bundle Messenger into that a little bit more, you get some folks that maybe had a reason to not really log into Facebook at all, get back in there.
Yeah, I was annoyed when this went away. It went away 5 years ago. We actually talked about it on the bonus show that we do for the co-executive producer level and up on Patreon, where we look back at stories from 5 years ago. And it was 5 years ago this month, I think, that they announced that they were stripping it out. I guess it doesn't bug me that much because when you tap on it, it launches the other app and it's like, okay, well, I guess it's, mildly seamless. But it always bugged me. It's like, well, why can't you just have it without having to launch a separate app? And it looks like they're going back to that idea, maybe with not all the bells and whistles, which is fine. If I'm in Facebook and I just want to check the message without having to go to another app, then this will let me do it in a split second faster than I would otherwise. I've kind of gotten used to it though. Patrick, do you even use this?
I do. I at this point, I work so hard to eliminate Facebook and Messenger as much as possible from my life. And any changes they make, I assume, are something that's going to make it easier for them to track my information or stuff more things in front of my eyeballs that I didn't want to see anyway. I have no love for Facebook whatsoever, other than occasionally seeing pictures of friends and what they're doing.
I'll be honest. I would be more upset if they took away the Messenger app, which there's no indication that they're doing here, because it is the main way that I communicate with my nephew who lives in Australia. And if I tapped that and it took me into the full Facebook app every time, that would be annoying. So I'm glad it doesn't.
It's a good thing.
Yeah. Qobuz is a high-quality streaming music service available in public beta in the United States for $9.99 a month, due for a full launch here in May. It's been available in other parts of the world for a while. You can stream audio in multiple formats, right on up to FLAC 24-bit, 192 kilohertz. They also make music available for purchase in high-quality audio like that. The French company was founded in 2007, so they're not new. They're just new to the U.S., and Patrick, you've been trying this out. How is it?
It's really, really good. It's interesting to watch other people's reviews of it because it's turning into this weird sort of I don't know, litmus test for what people like and don't like. In terms of music usage, I still think Spotify is the best way to discover music out there. Titles has a big darling in the audiophile community because it offers lossless streaming FLAC files, basically CD quality files, exactly like bit perfect for what you get off a CD. Qobuz is interesting because a lot of people are very curious about high-res audio, but high-res audio albums are usually really expensive if you go up to HD tracks or someplace. So Qobuz gives you a chance. For $20 a month, you can basically stream. They're talking about having 40 million tracks overall in lossless quality, 170,000 albums, so maybe 2 million songs that are available in high res, like 24-bit, 192 kilohertz audio. So if you've been curious about high res audio, but don't want to spend hundreds of dollars or even 50 or $60 buying 2 or 3 albums, this gives you a chance for $25 a month to listen to a whole bunch of stuff. I like it. They've made an effort to make, it's more music and music enthusiast centric. And unlike Tidal, it's not sort of like, oh, Jay-Z has a new album and you're going to see it in your face every time you launch the app for 8 weeks. Not that I'm really cranky about that. Nice album.
Theoretical, right? Not something.
No, that wasn't theoretical at all. It literally was like 2 months of every time I opened up the app, it was like this album. And I'm like, I know you told me about it yesterday and the day before.
So one point of clarification is it's Qobuz, Qobuz, if people are wondering, but also the $9.99 a month that I mentioned, that's just the first tier. That doesn't get you access to everything, right?
So you get for premium, what they call their premium is 320 kilobits per second, or a very, very high quality MP3 for $10 a month. If you want to go to lossless, it's the same price as Tidal's lossless FLAC files for $20 a month. And then the next step up for $25 a month, they do high res audio. And if you are a high res audio enthusiast and you want to have all of your albums in high res, for $300 a year, they have what they call their Sublime level. And the real attraction to that is they allow you to buy high res albums incredibly cheaply. So if you want to build a large collection of high-res albums, this is a way to do it. Well, not that, you got to want to spend a lot of money on music because it's $300 for the subscription, and then you still pay additional money to own the albums permanently, even if you aren't a Qobuz subscriber.
Gotcha.
It's worth checking.
Well, folks, you're going to want some nice headphones if you want to listen to this high quality audio. So let's get to the Patrick's picks around headphones. Don't forget, if you want to get the tech headlines each day in about 5 minutes, subscribe to dailytechheadlines.com. Let's start talking about the headphones that will not make me break a 20.
Okay, Monoprice 8323, the closed back over-ear dynamic DJ headphone. They're like $16 direct from Monoprice. I think they cost $20 on Amazon. These are shockingly good for the money. In fact, I've seen headphones that cost 5 or 8 times as much that don't sound as good as these. They are plasticky. They are vinyl. They will make your ears sweat because they have, vinyl ear pads. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. About half the editors at the Rev3 studio were using the Monoprice 8323s. It's a alarmingly good headphone for the money. It is plasticky, and as Roger is demonstrating, it is about as not stylish as any headphone we've ever seen.
I will say this: they are pretty durable for super dirt cheap headphones. I've had these for 6-7 years.
Oh wow!
Yeah, they are alarmingly good for the money, especially if you have like a teenager that destroys things, or you have to give headphones to children and you don't want to be out of a lot of money. It's really nice. If you don't want to spend $100 for Puros that are going to keep their hearing safe, that's a good way to go.
Now, if I've got a little more cash, what do I do?
Sony MDR 7506 I first saw them in studios in New York City like 25 years ago. Wirecutter picks these as like their best headphone under $150. They sell for $80 generally. They are not out of stock on at least 1 or 2 other listings on there, or shouldn't be, but you're going to pay $80 for these. They are alarmingly good. They have good bass. They have excellent highs. They're incredibly neutral. And it's funny because the first time I think I ever read about them, there was a speaker designer by the name of Dunlavy who was making like $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 speakers like 15, 20 years ago. And he was like, these are the most neutral sounding headphones you can buy. They are amazing. And that's from a guy who was like, you could basically buy a car brand new for what he was charging for speakers. He was like, these are the great headphones. If you want to know what your music sounds like, get a set of Sony MDR 7506s, get a Spotify premium account, listen through that for like 6 months, maybe upgrade to an AudioQuest Dragonfly, and you have a really good idea how good your music can sound.
Well, these are the headphones that I'm actually wearing right now. These are and they are my headphones of choice. I agree that they in heat can get a little sweaty, but they are comfortable. The sound is great. And yes, when you're doing stuff like audio editing, anything that really requires you to, like the minutia of stuff, these are the headphones to get. And considering that they're, under $100, I mean, I don't see a better deal out there for the quality.
I will add that's pretty much the standard set of headphones that you'll find in any broadcasting outfit, whether it's a local news station or CNN.
Yeah, they're really, really good.
So Sarah and I have the MDR 7506s. Roger has the 8323s. What about the people who have more money than we do?
Well, I have both of those. something that came out last year. I saw them for the first time last summer. Monoprice is 565C closed back. They're basically a closed over ear headphone. These are planar magnetic, and a couple of years ago I thought planar magnetic was going to wipe out dynamic or regular speaker style drivers at the high end. Turns out there's a lot of goodness left in dynamic drivers, but these sound phenomenal. Big solid sub bass. If you want to really hear everything in your electronica or your orchestral music or your jazz, these are really, really good. They have more bass than Hi-Fi Man's 400s, which are kind of at least until I heard these, were kind of the go-to for an audiophile headphone for a couple of $100. They're closed back so you won't irritate your neighbors, and they have a really, really good sound stage. I mean, a really wonderful headphone. You're going to want to have lossless tracks, or you're going to want to have some high quality tracks. If you're listening to the standard level Spotify or something, I wouldn't waste my money buying a $200 set of headphones.
And then if you want to waste your money buying an $800 set of headphones, what should I get?
You are a super audio geek. You have ripped your entire audio collection to FLAC, or you've got a giant collection of high-res audio files. You want to take it to the next level, and you don't want to spend $4,000. I mean, these are Mr. Speaker's Aeon. They have an open back and a closed back version. This is an unbelievably well-tuned, these sound amazing. But, like a lot of things in life, this is not the thing. You don't spend $800 on a set of headphones so you can sit in your office with a bunch of people yelling in the background. This is like, I'm going to sit and I'm going to listen to music and I'm going to concentrate on every detail, and it is going to be a phenomenal experience, which sounds like I'm mocking it, but I'm really not. But this is to get a better set of headphones than these. These are like 800 new. They sell refurbished versions off the website for like $670. I've seen them for sale used for like $500. You're going to have to spend probably $2,000 or $3,000 to get something that sounds better than these. Dan Clark, the Mr. Speakers, he's an interesting cat. Like $800 sounds like a lot, and it is, but they're half the price of his previous sort of flagship headphones. And I think they are as good sounding or better as the $1,600 headphones. And his way of looking at it is that most people will never hear, much less buy, a set of $20,000 speakers. So my goal is to give you that phenomenal level of audio quality for under $1,000. And if you look at it that way, it's kind of interesting.
That's fantastic. What a great roundup. And folks, if you want to know links to these products that Patrick's talking about, we'll have them all on the website in the Google Doc that's embedded there at dailytechnewsshow.com. But just to recap, it's the Monoprice 8323s that are $16, the MDR 7506 from Sony, a classic for $80. Mine have lasted me like 12 years, 15 years. The Monoprice M565C for $200, and the Mr. Speakers Aeon for $800. Thank you, Patrick.
You're welcome.
And thanks to everybody who participates in our subreddit. Sometimes there are headphone stories there as well. You can submit your own and vote on others at dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com. We're also on Facebook. If you want to hang out with us there, facebook.com/groups/dailytechnewsshow.
Let's take a look at the mailbag.
Let's do it. Daniel in Cincinnati he wanted to weigh in on the whole ejecting flash drives and possibly erasing them conversation, which I thought Patrick would get a kick out of today. Daniel says,
Vlad Savov was on the show Monday and asked, has anybody actually damaged their data on a flash drive? Write into us. So we've been getting these emails all week.
We talked about this. This is like yeah, go ahead. I have thoughts.
Well, so we'll read Daniel's story and see if it resonates with you. Daniel says, I've seen people wipe their entire flash drive twice. I used to teach computer classes to adults who are learning computer skills to get back into the job force. Some of them would just yank out flash drives indiscriminately. I know of 2 times when their entire flash drive full of targeted resumes and work histories and Excel spreadsheets of companies that they've applied to and networking contact information all wiped out, completely blank and corrupted USB drives. Apparently, I've told my kids the story because whenever they see somebody yank a flash drive out of a computer in the movies or on TV, they wince and yell, "No, don't do that."
That's great.
Like when Marvel Steve Rogers was in an Apple store and yanks a USB drive out of a Macintosh in the movie Winter Soldier. Which is funny because, I initially was like, it's like the horror movie where it's like, don't go up the stairs. Don't do that. It's not going to end well for you.
It's in the house. It's in the house. Oh, yeah. No, I was laughing because I was like, oh, I've actually wiped 3 drives or 2 drives, actually. Take that back. 2 drives since like October after the release came out, doing this. And I'm like, I'm trying really hard to unlearn the manual removal, but every time that happens, it happens a lot more with cheap USB thumb drives than it does with good USB thumb drives. But yeah, I've had it happen. Sometimes at the worst possible time with the worst possible data.
I'll be honest, I will continue to eject the things for a long time in Windows, even though they tell me it's okay. It's a learned behavior, you know? What are you going to do? Also a learned behavior is getting great art from Len Peralta on Fridays. Len, what have you been drawing today?
Well, let me preface this art by just saying this is an editorial cartoon.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do
Let me
you
just say that it's an editorial cartoon, and it actually shows the big mouse in a positive light, if you want to look at it that way. This is called Disney is Set to Stream, and it's the classic image of our friend Ricky Rouse, who has his foot up, his right foot up. And he's about to squash the competition, folks.
His yellow shoes are poised to take Netflix, YouTube, and Apple off the stage.
Out of the
Thanks
game.
for setting up the market for me, guys.
Yeah. Please don't sue me.
So yes. Actually, it does say "Please don't sue me" on this print. And if you want to see that in person, go to my online store, lenperaltastore.com. Or if you're one of my patrons, this is there right now for you to download. Patreon.com/Len. You get it. Just because you're backing me at the $5.
This is the first time I've seen people in the chat room live talking about printing this out before we've even introduced it on the show.
It's crazy.
It was pretty
I'm
great.
buying it before the lawyers drop
Before I'm taken away by the Magic Kingdom.
Yeah. Thank you, Len. You've outdone yourself. That's fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Thanks also to Patrick Norton for being with us this fine Friday. Patrick, where can people keep up with what all of your latest work is?
Oh, tekthing.com or avxl.com are the 2+ places to go. We just got a new episode of AVXL up. We got another one recording tomorrow. And hey, I do Tech Thing with Shannon each and every week. And we did talk about Windows and drives and death earlier this week.
All those inevitables in your life. Yeah. Check it out. tekthing.com. You hear me talk about all the cool things you get if you're a member of DTNS at patreon.com/DTNS all the time. This week is the week to join if you haven't already. Just out this morning, a Wi-Fi 6 explainer was my editor's desk for people at the associate producer level and up, that explains what Wi-Fi 6 is, why you will benefit from it, and when you should worry about replacing your router to get it. That's all in the feed right now at patreon.com/DTNS. And then this evening, a little bit ahead of the rest of the world, you'll get an early look at an interview I did with Karen Howe about machine intelligence. What is AI? How do you separate the hype from the reality? And she does a great job of explaining what machine learning is and supervised and unsupervised learning. So if you've been trying to get all that stuff straight in your head, this is the chance to do it. That's coming this evening to the patrons at patreon.com/DTNS. It'll be in the public feed tomorrow morning as well.
Our email address is feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. Keep them coming. We're also live Monday through Friday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, 2030 UTC. Find out more at dailytechnewsshow.com/live.
See you Monday, folks.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Get more at frogpants.com.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
Good night, Rob.
Good night, Rob. It takes a special kind of fatigue to be like, wait, what's our URL?
What's our URL that I'm looking right at? All right.
Yeah.
It's been a week.
Never had that before. This is new.
This is
Yeah.
the first time for Disney Plus streaming launches for $69 a year. Nice. Suggested by Cow. There's something lovely about it. It's a little long. The a la carte dream is over. Leaning into what Patrick was saying. High quality Patrick Norton. I like that. This is very appropriate. Disney's winter.
Have money.
Disney's winter's coming. Don't make Tom break a 20.
Yeah.
Streaming is the new
$20
cable.
for headphones. Give
The
it to
Qobuz Buzz. A lot of people, a couple of different variations on that. Pro ears for your ears. Feel like I'm missing something there.
Pro ears.
Pro ears.
Like Pro Era? No.
Like pro earphones for your ears. I don't know. I like high quality Patrick Norton. That's my favorite.
I'm into that one. I mean, it's direct and to the point.
All right, done.
Patrick Norton in 16K.
What would be your follow-on?
Yeah. Our alternate title for the patrons.
Hmm.
That one could be
Under
Don't
50
Sue
foot.
Us.
Yeah, I like that.
Where's it? Where is it?
Us.
don't sue
No,
me.
Len.
Me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Please don't sue
Yeah.
Len.
What do you mean
Yeah.
us?
Hey, us.
Len's the one's going to the clink.
We're all
to the
throwing
Who's
Len
Cow.
under the bus here. Never heard of him. Len Peralta? I don't even know how I got on that street.
Nope.
Dude, I just purchased that. It is so awesome. I will
Yeah.
be printing it out all over
Thank you
my
so
house.
much.
Thanks for being awesome. Thanks for
Yeah,
being
no,
you,
it's
Len.
really well done, Len. I have
It's exactly how I feel about it too.
Well, it's we'll see what happens. I mean, I was dead set against. I was telling Tom earlier, I was dead set against a Disney streaming service because I'm like, I'm not paying for another one. And then I saw the price, and I'm like, okay.
Oh, they did almost everything right in this announcement. They emphasized all the original content. They made sure they had something from every sector. Even if you don't care about Jeff Goldblum doing National Geo stuff, or they had something for everybody in here to be like, this is going to be broad. Don't worry. We'll have plenty of selection. All your favorite Disney animated classics are going to be in the vault, not going to be in the vault anymore. They're going to be on here. We'll have all the Star Wars, like they just hit on everything. And also $7 a month. Thank you very much. The billions we make from our parks and our other networks will subsidize this for years to come. Don't worry about us. We'll be fine.
For less than the cost of
It's the
3
merchandising
big
that they
medium
make bank
Starbucks.
on.
Yeah, exactly.
coffee.
And that's
That's a
the
great
thing that
price.
they have that Netflix hasn't grown yet, are these other revenue streams that they can lean on, because they're going to lose money on this for a while, but they don't care as long as they can build up the momentum and the subscription base.
Nintendo's going to go out of business. They've got how many billions salted away?
Netflix. I actually don't think Netflix will suffer because of this. This is going to be put way more pressure on the other, like the Warner one, the NBC Universal one, CBS All Access, and any of these like Tubi and all of those other ones out there that are trying to get by. Some of them, like Tubi, is free; it's ad supported, so maybe they'll weather the storm because you don't have to pay for it, but.
I'm curious.
Nobody's going to be using that Disney content in their streaming service.
No, it was decades in the making, Tom.
The other interesting thing that it was a little too wonky to bring out on DTNS, but The Simpsons is produced by the Fox Studios that Disney owns. Fox Broadcasting, which is part of Fox Corporation, which Disney does not own, has renewed it and will continue to air it. But then the syndication is all going to Disney Plus.
It's crazy.
So I don't. The calculation for keeping Simpsons on the air for so many years was Fox produced it, aired it, and got the syndication money out of it, right? I don't know that Fox Broadcasting will want to continue to air it for too long if they're only getting the broadcasting revenue out of it. Part of the reason that they kept it on the air was like, well, it does all right on broadcast, and then we rake in all this other money, but they don't get any of that money now because it's made by Disney, and then the syndication goes to Disney.
It's crazy. It's a crazy world we live in.
Oh, I really like The Simpsons.
They're like me. They
Up
never
until
grow old.
season 9.
That's
probably.
worth $8 a month.
They're the color of my shoes.
Can you get the first 8 seasons? Because those are the only ones that are good.
I'm wondering because there are generations.
175 seasons.
It's at this point, it is just kind of, what do they call it? Not national icon, but just like it's just
Johnny
been around so long that it's just part of the scenery.
Yeah, the cultural zeitgeist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like Saturday
I-
Night Live.
Well, yeah, and I always say this about The Simpsons. Like, it's like I make fun of the fact that it's been on for as long as it has, but it has because it's really good and clever and funny. And I will watch a Simpsons episode. I don't know, maybe like one episode per season, and it's always funny. It's a good show. Maybe a little long in the tooth at this point, but even as somebody who's not like a super fan, I still recognize that it's funny.
How
Well,
many
it's
seasons has it been going now?
it's weird. It's like its own
30?
self-generating meme because it's been around so much that literally any situation in life you will find a meme, a Simpsons meme that you can or an
Right.
image macro off of it.
Right. Or there'll be like a very, I don't know, some sort of random thing, and someone will go like, "Oh yeah, the Simpsons did that."
If you wanted a show that has reached a singularity, I would think it would be The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing that I'm excited about, and it's a little thing, but one of the disappointments of Force Awakens and Last Jedi was that they can't play the 20th Century Fox intro because it's not a 20th Century Fox movie. It's a Lucasfilm
And
movie.
that's deeply upsetting.
But now that Disney owns 20th Century Fox, one can assume they would easily be able to play that.
You
intro.
can comfortably get into the movie the way that it was intended.
That was good.
I'm not sure.
So-
I don't know if they'll do it or not, but I would assume they could.
One of the things for Endgame, for Avengers Endgame, what are the chances do you think we're going to see a post-credit sequence with the Fantastic Four hinted?
Well, folks, if you're on video, you'll just have to answer that yourself. But audio folks, stick around for our answers. There's more to come.